Hello and welcome to this tutorial about the video editing features of the Flame Tracker. In the last video I installed and launched the application, and in this one I will show you how to use the graphical user interface and the video editing functions of the Flame Tracker. This material is also available on GitHub, and from the repository I can go to the Wiki section and then user interface and video editing and just check out the page. The user interface is conceptually divided in two sections. The one at the top is called Preview Box and is used to control and edit images and videos, while the Analysis box at the bottom changes based on the analysis method that I select with the Choose Analysis menu and is initially blank. The Preview box has 4 columns, and in the first one over here there is a message box that shows instructions and notifications, and right below it there is the Help button, which contains information about the parameters of the Preview box. The Flame Tracker can open both images and videos, and in the GitHub repository you can find examples that you can use to replicate what I'm going to do here. I will start from the example video, which shows a flame spreading over a cotton sample. In this experiment the sample is vertical and the electrical igniter is placed at the top of the sample, so the flame moving from right to left in the video is actually spreading from top to bottom. At the beginning of the video there is a flashing light showing the sample, and as you can see the sample does not look like a rectangle, and this is because the camera was slightly tilted when he recorded the experiment and he gave the video a perspective. So I need to correct the video before being able to track the flame. I can open the video with the Flame Tracker by clicking on the Open button, and then I can select the video in the Examples folder. The video information will appear in the first column of the Preview box, and it includes the video size in pixels, the frame rate, the total number of frames, and the video duration. The third column of the Preview box is dedicated to the video editing. For example, if I want to rotate the video, I can type the angle in degrees in the rotation box and check the result with the preview slider. The rotation is considered positive in the counterclockwise direction, but I can also type a negative number to directly rotate the video in the other direction. In this example video, the camera was not perfectly vertical, as you can see from the short edges of the sample, so I can straighten the video with an angle of -2 degrees. And I can just click on the preview slider to update the video. Before correcting the perspective, I need to specify the actual size of the reference object, which in this case is the sample. The long sides of the sample measure 152 millimeters, so in the horizontal length text box I will type 152. The vertical length, which corresponds to the short sides of the sample in the video, was 55 millimeters, so I will type 55 in the other text box. Now I'm ready to correct the perspective, and to do that I will have to click on the 4 corners of the sample. When I click on the button Correct Perspective, a pop-up window reminds me the click order that I need to follow, and if I don't remember the order I can check it in the message box as well. The clicks are in the clockwise direction starting from the top right, so we have 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now the perspective is corrected. If for some reason I clicked on the wrong spot, for example while I'm moving the window on my screen, I can press the Escape keyboard and start over. And if I made a mistake with the correction, I can always click on the Restore Original button and all the changes will be discarded. As you can see in the preview window, now the white rectangle indicating the region of interest does not include the entire sample, so I can select a new region by clicking on the Select ROI button and click on the point in the frame and drag a rectangle with the cursor. If I don't like what I selected, I can do it again, and when I'm done I can press Enter. In alternative, I can also type the coordinates of the rectangle in the relative boxes, with x, y being the coordinates of the first point, and then the third value, w, is the width of the ROI, and h is the height. An important parameter for video analysis is the number of pixels corresponding to a length scale in the image. If I know a certain distance, for example the length of the sample, I can click on the scale button and then click on the two extremes. In general, it is better to use the longest distance to increase the accuracy of the scale, so I will use the long side of the sample. I can click on the corners and then type the value in millimeters, which is 152, and now the scale is calculated and available next to the button. In a similar way, I can select the reference point in the video by clicking on the reference point button. Both the absolute coordinates of the point as well as the ones depending on the region of interest are available in the message box, while only the absolute ones are shown next to the button. At the top of the same column, I can specify the frame range that I want to consider for my video. I can get an idea of this range by scrolling through the video with the slider, and for example, if I'm only interested in the flame after the ignition, I can set the first frame to 1000. And I can set the last frame to 4000 to exclude the smoldering of the cotton sample at the end. Now the slider would only consider this portion of the video. I can also type a specific frame in the text box here and click on the Go to Frame button. If I select a frame before the first frame, this number will change as well, but for now I will set it back to 1000. The skip frame number is used for the analysis and it will not affect the preview slider. At this point, I can save all the values by clicking on the Save Parameters button. This creates a CSV file that can be later loaded, and a copy of this file is available also in the examples folder on GitHub. The last video editing feature that I wanted to show is the change of brightness and contrast. With these sliders, I can increase or decrease these two parameters, and the numbers on top of the sliders represent the percentage variation. One thing to keep in mind is that if I now click on Restore Original, also the perspective correction will be lost. So before changing the brightness and contrast, it's good to save the parameters. In this case, I can just click on Load Parameters and the perspective is corrected again. In case I want to save the edited video, I can export it with these parameters here. If I want to skip some frames or change the frame rate while keeping the same total duration of the video, I can click on the Help button with a question mark and follow this simple formula for the new frame rate. I can change the codec and format used for the new video by typing them directly in the text boxes, and they depend on the operating system. When I am ready, I can click on Export Video, and after saving the new file, the user interface will not respond until the process is done. However, I can check the progress from the terminal window. So far, I have only considered the example video, but with the flame tracker I can open images as well. In the examples folder, there are a few pictures from a smoldering experiment of wooden samples. To open the images, I need to select the relative option from the drop-down menu before clicking on the Open button. When I select and open all the pictures, I have to enter the frame rate used for the image sequence. If I type 1, each image will last for 1 second, and the total duration of the video will be 6 seconds. All the editing features shown for the example video apply to the image sequence as well, and the images are basically considered as frames. At this point, I am ready to start the analysis of the video, and in the next tutorials I will show you how to use the different tracking methods. Thanks for watching this video, and feel free to comment below for any questions or email me at flametrackercontact@gmail.com.